So welcome back, darlings. In this video we continue with the second part of our 3-video series featuring this dungaree for our Hagrid doll. This 3-part series shows you how I make this garment, so I hope you learned something from it. If you like the pattern that's shown here, it's available as soon at my Etsy shop, of which link is in the description box. In the last video, we were able to attach the side and back pockets of our pant pieces. Now we're continuing with first closing the front crotch seam. Let's make sure the seam marks align and pin base to keep the alignment secure during the stitching. Here's our front crotch seam, and let's cut slits along the curvy edges. Up next, we are adding a J-shaped stitch to the center crotch so that it looks like we have a zipper flap. And then let's do our bottom hems. I folded mine twice here so that I don't have raw edges. The bottom hems tend to fray a lot as you do several styling sessions with your dolls, so I would suggest you fold them twice before stitching. Now let's grab our waistband fabric strip and let's connect that to our waistline. And here goes our stitch. That's how it looks on the inside and the outside. Now what I'm about to do is mark 5 centimeters or about 1/4 inch of waistband height. I'm using my fabric pin to do the marking with the help of my ruler. I like to start at the center, and there I go again, picking the wrong pen. And let's mark the rest. Let me show you quickly how the front bib is sewn into this waistband. Yep, take note of the seam lines, you guys. But first, let's attach the front pocket to it. As you can see, for a bit, I have marked corner points for the pocket to be placed into. And just like how we did the back pockets, we start with folding the edges of the pocket piece, stitch base to make sure they are not moving much while we're sewing, and finally, sew the folds securely. Now I'm just adding a simple design, which is to stitch a couple lines on the pocket. Alright, I think we're ready to stitch baste the front pocket to the bib. Make sure you're within those corner marks that we saw earlier. Then let's do the final stitching to attach the pocket to the bib securely. For slightly tight bastings like this, I like to cut the threads first, then use my tweezer to remove the now shorter bastings. How about you guys? What tools do you like to use when removing this bastings? Please share in the comments below so our beginners learn from you too. And now we're having a sudden change of lighting. I continued my recording the day after, first during the very early part of the morning with the curtains down, thus the darkness. So here we will be hemming the edges of our two bibs. As always, I like to stitch baste so that my folds are secure while I do my final stitches. Now let's remove the bastings. Here I'm using this seam ripper to remove the basting because it's just one strip of thread anyways. Now that our bib pieces are ready, let's grab our pants assembly. First though, let's remove extra seam allowance from the waistband. I use my sharpest pair of shears here because there's like at least 2 layers of fabrics to cut all at once. Alright, let me grab my front bib and pin it to my waistband. I like to start at the center front of my garment. And let's pin baste the front bib, making sure the seam lines align. and let's stitch. After stitching, here we are. Our waistband is slowly revealing itself. Now let me show you why I propose to use such a thickness of 3 centimeters in our waistband. This is so that when folded, the waistband then overlaps the lower waistband seams, and eventually it will cover these exposed seams. It's just my way of covering fray-prone areas like this, and so that our garment will look neater from the inside. Let me know if that makes sense or what, okay? Alright, up next is we are closing the center back crotch. Let's pin base to secure our alignment. Here goes our back crotch seam, and we are cutting slits along the curvy edges. Now let's prepare to attach our back bib to the center back of our waistband. And dollings, pin, pin, pin. And here goes our back bib already stitched to the waistband. Let me show you how it looks like when we fold down the waistband. Let's hope the seam allowance will be fully covered. Yep, they are. Let me show you how it looks on the outside too. Of course, before I top stitch the waistband seams, let me do my trusty stitch basting first. As you can see, I make sure the lower seam waistband allowance are pressed upwards so that they can hide behind this folded waistband strip. And there goes our waistband top stitching. Then remove the bastings carefully. Guys, this session will end for now, but for our third and final video in this series, we will close up our pants, attach our straps, and sew on buttons and buckles. So see you then.